easy as we look at our lives for us to start pushing our dreams to the side, to push things to the side and believe that maybe this isn't the right timing. Maybe I'm just going to wait for the kids to leave off for college. Maybe I'm going to wait for things to change in the economy. Maybe I'm going to wait in order for something else to change. But the reality of it is it's never going to be the perfect timing. Everything's not going to be perfect. So the question is, why not act now? And it was George Eliot that said that it's never too late to become the man or the woman that you could have been. So there's no better time to act than now. And now that you're here with me tonight, I want to start off by having you just simply think for a moment. And I want you to think about some type of challenge or something that you're experiencing right now, some type of challenge that maybe some of you, as you listen to me right now, that you're facing some type of financial challenge. You feel like you're in a bit of a squeeze. You're trying to figure out how you're going to make out. How is it that you're going to sustain this business? How is it that you're going to pay these bills? That maybe some of you right now, as you listen to my voice right now, that you're going through some type of health challenge, that unfortunately you didn't believe that at a moment that you'd be fighting for your health, but you find yourself in a situation where your health just isn't what you used to have it as. And now you find yourself struggling and you're concerned and you're worried. Or maybe right now, as you hear my voice, that you find yourself in a new place and you feel like this is a new beginning. You're almost starting over, something that you have been doing for years before, and now you're doing something completely different. You feel like a fishy out of water. And now you're starting to second guess yourself. Everything seems new. Or maybe for you right now, you're at a place in your life where you're completely outside of your comfort zone. That this territory that you're in right now, that is presenting a challenge for you. And here's what I say, that regardless of where you are right now, what challenge it is that you're facing, here's what I want to tell you right now. What I have to tell you is, you've been here before. Yeah, you've been here before. This isn't your first time. This isn't your first time dealing with a challenge. This isn't your first time having to maneuver and figure this thing out. This isn't your first time having to face something that you fear. This is not your first time that you're going to be dealing with a setback, with a challenge, with something that you didn't anticipate. And maybe this time around it's a little different than what it was last time. Maybe last time you were facing some type of financial challenge, and now this time it has to do with your health. Or maybe last time it had to do with your health, but now you're dealing with something that has to do with your relationship. Or perhaps last time it had to do with the relationship, but now this time, it's a matter of starting over. And what I say to you is, regardless of what it is that you're facing right now, you have been here before. Yeah, you've been here before. And not only have you been here before, but you made it through. You found a way to push through. You found a way to dig deep. You found a way to push through the fear. You found a way to get comfortable with that unfamiliar space. You grew, you stretched, and somehow you were able to do it. And here's what I say to you, that not only have you been there before, but that you can do it again. You know, it was the day before Easter, I got a phone call from one of my tenants in one of my properties, and they said, Mr. Andy, for some reason in the utility room, we keep seeing the water on the floor. We've been throwing towels on the floor, and the water just keeps coming back, and we're not sure where the water's coming from, and we really need you to make sure you get this fixed. And I called the plumber up. I said, Leroy, listen, I've got an issue at one of the rental properties. Can you get out there? He said, no, I can't get out there. He said, I can get out there tomorrow. I said, Leroy, tomorrow is Easter. You sure? He said, I can get out there tomorrow. And now it's Easter, and I'm spending time with my loved ones and my family, and I get a call from the plumber, and Leroy says, hey, listen, Andy, I'm here. I'm going to try to figure out what's going on here. I'll give you a call back. And it's about 30 minutes go by, and I haven't heard back from Leroy yet. So I give Leroy a call. I said, Leroy, what's going on? Did you figure out what's going on? He said, no, haven't figured it out yet. Let me give you a call back. I said, well, what's going on? He said, listen, there's some water on the floor in the utility room. He said, the water can only be coming from so many places. He said, one of the AC, the air handler, is in the utility room. Sometimes water can come from the air handler if it freezes up, if the pipe is leaking. He said the water's not coming from the air handler. He said that the washing machine is in here. Sometimes the washing machine, when it's in the rinse cycle, it can cause water to fall on the ground. It's not coming from the washing machine. He said one of the walls is running the line that runs the water to the refrigerator that runs into the ice machine, the ice maker. It's not that line. I'm trying to figure this thing out. Let me call you back. And then I wait. And I get a phone call back from Leroy in about another 20 minutes. He says, Andy. I said, what's going on, Leroy? Did you figure it out? He said, yeah, I did, but I had to break some of your walls to figure it out. I said, oh, come on, Leroy. Don't tell me that. What's going on? He said, yeah, it was either break the drywall or break the tile. He said, basically, I had to break the wall from the utility room when I'm looking through, and he says that the pipes for your tub, he said, this is an old house. He says, the pipes, they've rotted out. He says, what do you want me to do? You want me to fix it? I said, I guess, Leroy, I don't have a choice. I mean, I got to get rid of this problem. And I hang up with Leroy, and now I'm thinking, boy, it's Easter Day. I was hoping this was going to be a minor situation, and now Leroy's telling me he's going to have to, oh, gosh. All right, I guess I'm going to have to just deal with this. And then I get a phone call back from Leroy. Leroy goes, Andy. I said, what's going on, Leroy? He says, listen, man, things just got worse. I said, Leroy, what? Come on. What is it now? He said, listen, man, I thought I just had to change the pipe. There's a cast iron underneath the tub. It's rotted out, man. This is what we're going to have to do. I'm going to literally have to get someone to help me out. I'm going to have to dig outside of the house. I'm going to have to literally dig a trench underneath the house because I got to go underneath the house in order to change it. So needless to say, this is going to be more labor and way more money. What do you want me to do? What can I do, Leroy? Fix it. And I hung up the phone with Leroy. And now it's Easter Day, and I'm trying to enjoy this beautiful Easter day, and I started thinking about, man, this plumbing issue. I started thinking about how much money I'm going to spend, how I didn't anticipate having to spend this money, and just when the stress was starting to build up, just when I started to allow this thing to take control of my mind, I started to think, Andy, you've been here before. Yeah, Andy, this is not the first time you've had to deal with this situation. You have another rental property that had a similar issue. The guy had to dig under the house. He had to dig all around the house and run the plumbing from the house into the city line. Andy, what are you stressing out about? The same house that Leroy is at right now, that house caught on fire and almost burned down. You had to restore the entire inside of the house. You had to restore the kitchen, the AC unit, the walls, everything, drywall, everything. You've been here before, and you handled it. And here's what I say to you right now. As you listen to my voice, I want you to think about that challenge, that thing that you're facing, that thing that has you feeling uncomfortable, that thing that you know that has you stressed out. That maybe right now, as you hear my voice, you know it's some kind of financial situation. You are trying to figure this thing out, or maybe right now you're in limbo. You're trying to figure this business out. You see the potential, but you're not seeing the results. You're putting in the work and the effort, and this thing has gotten challenging. Or right now, it feels like a new beginning. You're starting over. You never thought that you'd be starting over at this point in your life, but yes, you're starting over. That unfortunately you got laid off your job, or the thing that you used to do no longer works, and now you're trying something new. You've been frustrated, you've been fearful, and you're trying to figure out how do you make this thing happen. And here's what I say to you is that you've been here before. Yeah, that maybe perhaps it wasn't this exact situation, but you've been here before. Somewhere in your past, you've managed to work through a situation that had you feeling upset. Somewhere in your past, you managed to walk through some kind of fear that you had. Somewhere in your past, you were new at something. You were starting it off, and somehow you figured it out. Why? Because you've been there before. And this thing that you're facing now, you can handle it. Yeah, you're gonna push through this. That this is just a temporary setback. Willie Jolly said that a setback prepares you for a comeback. This is just a minor breakdown. They said that a breakdown prepares you for your breakthrough. and you can handle this. Why? Because you've been here before. You've been through some stuff before. You've had to deal with some stress before. You've had to deal with some uncertainty before. You've had to deal with some fear before. You've had to deal with some challenges before, feeling uncomfortable. You've been here before. Own that. And now you can find a way to push through this situation. I remember one of my first and biggest financial hits. It was 2004. I had just walked away from corporate America. I saved up a good amount of money when I was working in corporate America, and I was eager and waiting to launch my new career as an entrepreneur, seeking and searching for opportunities. And I was still very green, didn't understand everything, perhaps trusting people a little too much. And there was someone that was a quote-unquote family friend. He knew I was looking for an opportunity, and he scheduled a time to come meet with me. I won't forget, we sat down at the breakfast table, and he brought his notepad, and he brought these brochures, and he talked to me about Costa Rica. He said, Costa Rica, this is the next place where everybody's going to go and retire. There's great opportunity there. The cost of living is low. He says, listen, there's some amazing opportunities there. Here, we can go into development. We can buy this land. We're going to do these cabins. These cabins only cost us this much money. We're going to show the models, and people come in, their leave deposits, and we're going to be rich, man. This thing's going to work. He's like, you got to get on a plane, come to Costa Rica. I got excited. Everything he said sounded great. I got on the plane. I flew out to Costa Rica. We looked at different lots. He said, that's the lot we're going to buy. We went to a place where they make the prefab cabins. He said, these are the cabins we're going to build. We signed the contract. We came back. I sent him a check. And then I didn't hear from him. About a week went by. 2 weeks went by. 3 weeks went by. Finally, I got him on the phone. And he had been avoiding me. And the reason why he had been avoiding me is because he took the money that I sent him that was supposed to be for us to acquire this land and to get the first couple of lab cabins. What he did with the money is he attempted to do another quick real estate investment, thinking that he would make the profit, afterwards bring the money back, and I wouldn't even know. But unfortunately, the other thing that he invested in, it didn't work out. And he didn't know how to tell me. And I remember when he finally fessed up and he told me. And I remember I had some sleepless nights. I was in my bed trying to figure out what am I going to do. I said, man, I had saved this money. I was thinking about how long it took me to save this money. I was stressed out. I was thinking, I said, I just left corporate America. I said, what am I going to do? How embarrassing. Am I going to walk back and ask them, if I have to get my job back? I said I was leaving to be an entrepreneur. I said, man, this is terrible. And it was a fight. It was a mental struggle. It was a fight. But I chose not to surrender. I chose not to go back to my comfort zone. I stretched and I grew. And through that process, I learned some stuff about myself. Through that process, I learned how to take a loss. And it was amazing because it was literally about 5 years later, after recovering from that and having some success in between. 5 years later, I was at the peak of the real estate market. Things are going great. Things are going so great that there's other investors. Some of my investor friends I'm making loans to, and I made a loan to a friend that I knew very well that was a real estate investor, and unfortunately, he couldn't pay me back. Unfortunately, his project went completely south. And I remember going through those same feelings again. And you would think that considering 5 years before that, I took a big financial hit and I got all that money back and then some. And I recovered and I forgot about it. For about a month, this thing had me stressed out. I forgot the fact that I had been there before. And maybe right now, as you're listening to my voice, you're dealing with something right now, and it's a challenge. It's forcing you to stretch. It's occupying your mind. It's making you second guess yourself. That right now there's something that is consuming you. That this financial situation, this relationship, this new unfamiliar territory that you're charting, this place in your life where you feel like you're starting all over again and you've forgotten, just like I did on that second go-around, that you had been there before. And it's not until you acknowledge the fact that you've been there before that you can fortify yourself, that you can build the confidence to face this thing head on, that you can realize that if you've been there before and you handled it then, you can handle it again. And if you did it back then, you faced your fear back then, if you pushed through that uncertainty back then, if you were new to something and you figured it out back then, you can do it again because you've been there before. And here's what I realized, that as you think about this challenge that you're dealing with right now in your life, and as you think about the times that you're doubting yourself, the times that you feel like you're trying to figure this thing out, the times that you feel a little overwhelmed, the times that you feel just completely stressed out, the time you feel like this thing is occupying your mind, I want to remind you that you've been here before. And last time you had to deal with this thing, it didn't take you out. And how do I know? The reason why I know is because you can hear me right now. You're still here. And the reason why you're still here is because you were able to manage it. You were able to handle it. And if you did it before, you can do it again. And so what are the steps? What is it that we have to do as we look at this challenge that we're facing? What is it that we have to do that's going to allow us to push through? The first thing, ladies and gentlemen, the first step is you look at this challenge, as you think about this thing that you're dealing with your financials, with your relationship, with this uncertainty, with this fear, with this health. The thing that you have to acknowledge, the first thing that you have to acknowledge is this, that you've been here before. That this isn't your first time. This is not if you've been living, if you've been doing this thing called life, you've had to deal with some trials, you've had to deal with some tribulations, you've had to deal with some challenges. It says that in this world you will have trials and tribulations. Not that you may have, not that there's a possibility. No, some challenges are going to come your way. And when they do, acknowledge the fact you didn't just start living. You've been here before. And once you've acknowledged the fact that you've been here before, that the second thing is you've got to make sure that you revisit. See, what I failed to do the second time when I hit that next big financial hit, I failed to go back in the database of my mind and go back to that previous situation and pull the lessons and think about what is it that the last time you were in that stressful situation, what is it that you did last time you were in that financial situation? What is it that you did the last time somebody hurt you? What is it that you did the last time you were starting over again? What is it that you had to do? What's the lesson that you got? Somebody said that when you lose, don't lose the lesson. Some of you have experienced some losses in the past, but it's not truly a loss if you took a lesson out of that, because that's the lesson that you use right now. And here's the lesson. The lesson is that you can handle this. The lesson is that the last time you went through that situation, it didn't take you out. The lesson is that maybe you need to ask some people for help. The lesson is that maybe the last time you strengthened your faith, you had to drop down on your knees and stop praying. Whatever you did last time, do it again. Because that's what got you through the last time. And it's been said, when you lose, don't lose the lesson. And I believe that the lesson is that everything that you've been through before, all the challenges, all the disappointments, all the times when you've had to doubt yourself and face your fear and push through, that all those things were preparing you for such a time as this. All those things were preparing you for this challenge that you're going through right now. If you only remember, that you've been here before. And finally, after you've acknowledged the fact that you've been here before, after you take the time to look at your past experiences, your past challenges, your past obstacles, and you find what are the lessons from those past experiences, those past challenges that I can bring forward right now to fortify me, to give me what I need to make it through this time. The final step is to make the decision that you're going to handle this. To make the decision that you made it through that situation before and you're going to do it again. To make the decision and literally say to yourself that no matter how bad it is or how bad it gets, I am going to make it. Yeah. That no matter how much uncertainty I'm facing right now or how much more uncertainty comes my way, I am going to make it. That no matter how much fear I'm dealing with right now or how much more fear I have to face, I am going to make it. No matter how small my resources are right now, and no matter if I lose it all, I am going to make it. No matter what the doctor is telling me right now about my health, and no matter if my health gets worse, I am going to make it. Why? Because I've been here before. And I did it before, and I can do it again. Yeah. So as you think about this challenge, this thing that you're facing right now, this thing that has you second guessing yourself, this thing that has you stressed out, this thing that is heavy on your mind, I want to remind you tonight that you've been here before. And the good news is that the last time you had to face a challenge, the last time you found yourself in some uncertainty, the last time you were in the midst of figuring something out, somehow, some way, you made it through. And what I say to you is if you've been here before and you know that last time you made it through, I want to remind you that you can do it again.